You know how everyone says signing with Jay-Z and Beyoncé's label is like hitting the jackpot? The dream deal, the golden ticket, the moment your entire life changes forever? Well, that's exactly what this young rising star thought too. She was fresh, hungry, full of ambition, and when that contract came across the table, she thought she'd just stepped into paradise. But little did she know, the so-called dream was about to turn into her worst nightmare. No paparazzi caught it, no headlines flashed it, but behind closed doors, something way darker was waiting for her. At first, everything felt unreal, like she was floating. Out of nowhere, she got that call. Management told her straight up, Beyoncé loved her sound, and Jay-Z, he wanted to meet her personally. Imagine that. A private jet, a luxury suite, smiles all around, champagne flowing, but no cameras, no press. Just them, acting like mentors. Beyoncé leaned in with that warm glow and said, "You've got something special." Jay followed up, calm but powerful. "We see you." And then, bam. The contract hit the table. She admitted later her hands were trembling as she signed. The label announced the deal the following week and the internet exploded. Fans lost their minds. Blogs were calling her the next big thing. In less than 2 days, her social following skyrocketed by 200,000. But behind those flashy celebratory selfies she posted, her eyes told a different story, because even then, deep down, something already felt off. Suddenly, her freedom evaporated. She couldn't speak freely anymore. Phone calls monitored, her creative team replaced, every single idea she had to go through the circle. Imagine this. She couldn't even tweet her own lyrics without someone asking who approved it. And then came the push to change the very voice that made her famous. They told her she was too raw. They said she needed polish. Her lyrics, too personal. They wanted something shallow, something that sells. When she refused one night to sing some cliché track about champagne and heels, her phone rang. And it wasn't management. A cold, unfamiliar voice said, "You'll do what we say, or we'll shove you." That night, she broke. She cried until there were no tears left. And when she tried reaching out to the people who had smiled so warmly at her, the Carters, their teams, they were ghosts. Suddenly, everything had to go through lawyers and assistants. That's when the creepy anonymous DMS started sliding into her inbox. Warnings like, "Be careful. They're not who you think they are. Don't trust your lawyer." One DM just said, "Bloodline." She shrugged it off at first, thinking it was trolls. But then, the messages kept coming. One day, someone even sent her a list of names, private investigators, lawyers, execs, all allegedly tied to something much bigger, something generational, not just a label, but a whole system of power. And that's when she really started to panic. So picture this. She's terrified, but she still tries to play it smart. She requests a meeting, says she just wants to renegotiate, nothing dramatic, just reclaim a little of her own voice. The very next day, boom, her scheduled release gets pulled, just like that. Label tells her they're reevaluating the direction. A week later, her studio access is gone, locked out. Then, like salt on the wound, her social accounts get seized by the label for security reasons. That night, desperate, she records a voice note. Just her, no filter. Her voice cracks as she pleads, "Please don't do me like this. I came here in good faith." You can hear the panic dripping in every word. She talks about being followed, about fake investigators blowing up her phone, and even mentions a lawyer she'd been warned not to trust. Over and over, she insists, "I'm not crazy, I'm not bitter, I'm just scared, I just want my life back." That's when she makes the boldest move yet. She goes public. She posts a raw video, no glam squad, no edits, just her in a hoodie, sitting in her car, barefaced and shaking, but speaking her truth. She doesn't drop names, but oh, you better believe she didn't have to. The connections were clear as day. "I signed thinking it was a dream," she says, "but I ended up living a nightmare." The internet went wild. Within hours, the clip racked up millions of views. Comments flooded in. Some people praised her bravery. Others accused her of clout chasing. But buried among the chaos, messages from other artists, some anonymous, others bold enough to show their faces, saying, "I know exactly what she's talking about." And that's when it really hit her. She wasn't alone. So she starts digging, quiet and careful. She reaches out to past artists who had vanished. Remember those names that were once everywhere on the charts, only to disappear like smoke? She tracks them down. And what she uncovers? Chilling. Same patterns, same stories, creativity controlled, sudden cancellations, cryptic threats. One artist even confessed their best friend was blackballed across the entire industry for refusing to rewrite a song. Another warned her directly, "Don't keep pushing. They'll come for you. You're not fighting a person, you're fighting a system." And that system? Oh, it had layers. She learns the harsh truth. Most major labels, owned by the same 3 global corporations. But that's just the surface. Beyond that were the dynasties. Families with their hands not just in music, but in media, fashion, even politics. Generations of quiet control. The kind of power that doesn't make headlines but pulls every string behind the curtain. They weren't just running labels, they were running the entire pipeline of fame. They decided who got the radio spins, who got the festival slots, who collaborated with who, and if you dared to step out of line, they shut the faucet off. Just like As she's piecing this puzzle together, she manages to get in touch with a former A&R rep, someone who had left the industry years ago. And what he told her? It stayed burned in her brain. He admitted flat out that back then, they never even looked at artists as people. They called them products. He said, "We weren't searching for stars, we were searching for loyalty. We didn't want icons, we wanted soldiers." That word haunted her, soldiers, because that's exactly what it felt like. Like she'd been drafted into a war she never signed up for, where your voice wasn't really yours anymore, where your image got crafted in a boardroom, and your songs were just background noise for someone else's agenda. And the pressure to conform? Oh, it was suffocating. They made her change her hair, told her to lose weight, even toned down her accent. They molded her into a brand that didn't even feel human, let alone authentic. Every move she made was about marketability, every decision about keeping her in line. Even her personal life wasn't hers anymore. She was told who to date, who not to be seen with, how to smile in public. Fame? Forget it. This wasn't fame, it was theater, a scripted performance she hadn't agreed to. But the scariest part hit when she finally dug into her contract. She realized the wording was twisted beyond belief. Hidden clauses gave the label nearly unlimited rights, not just to her music, but to her likeness, her vocals, even future work she hadn't made yet. And then came the real gut punch. The lawyer who helped her sign that deal, he'd represented the label before. She'd been set up from day one, so she goes silent for a week. Not because she's broken, but because she's planning. She comes back with fire in her eyes and launches a live stream. Not to rant, not for sympathy, but to expose everything. She goes line by line through that contract, breaking it down for every hungry young artist watching. She highlights the traps, the loopholes, the red flags that nobody talks about until it's too late. Thousands tuned in, artists, producers, even fans. And for the first time, she wasn't just a cautionary tale. She was a voice for the voiceless. And she didn't hold back. She made it crystal clear. This isn't about one bad deal. This is about power, how it's built, how it's used, and how it hides in plain sight. Of course, the machine tried to shut her down. Blogs popped up with shady headlines calling her unstable. Industry insiders whispered that she was difficult. A random producer even went viral claiming she was exaggerating for attention. But guess what? None of that stopped her. If anything, it fueled her even more, because now the truth was out, and she wasn't about to let anyone bury it again. So while the industry tried to paint her as unstable and difficult behind the scenes, she was plotting something bigger. She started turning down podcast invites, flashy interviews, all that noise. Because this wasn't about chasing a spotlight anymore. It was about building a movement. Quietly, she put together a private network. We're talking artists, lawyers, producers, even a few former insiders who had nothing left to lose. They started meeting over encrypted calls, swapping contracts, trading secrets, exposing hidden loopholes the labels thought would never see the light of day. And the receipts? Oh, they were ugly. One insider sent her a screenshot of a non-disclosure clause buried deep inside a mainstream label contract. Basically, it gave the company the right to sue the artist, even for complaining privately. Imagine signing away your right to vent to a friend. Another contact leaked an old memo from a label exec instructing staff to silence unrest by planting fake PR stories. Suddenly, everything she'd been saying wasn't theory anymore. It was documented. Cold, hard proof. Instead, she took to her camera again, calm and collected this time. She told her followers, "If they offer you more after you speak out, it means they could have given you better from the start. Don't forget that." That one clip, it blew up. Millions of shares, and it made something clear. This wasn't revenge. This was a revolution, and people were listening.